There seems to be sort of a subgenre within certain horror films or thrillers that feature a main character who has some sort of affliction and is placed in a perilous situation. For example, the film The Spiral Staircase, about a mute woman who is being stalked by a serial killer. Or Sorry, Wrong Number, which I did an episode on recently about a bedridden woman who thinks there's a murder plot against her. Or the film Hush, which involves a deaf mute girl who is house sitting and somebody is trying to get in the house and kill her. A different tack was taken with the film Don't Breathe, where there's a group of thieves trying to get into the house of a blind man, but he is much more capable than they expected him to be. And maybe the best of the bunch, or the most classic of the bunch, arguably, is Wait Until Dark, with Audrey Hepburn as a blind woman, and there are a trio of thugs trying to get into her house. That brings us to today's episode. This is the Kazdoy Closet. I'm Kazdoy. That's my closet, full of all the stuff that I love. And today, a blind woman must contend with a maniac on the loose in the countryside in England. Let's check it out. Today's film is See No Evil from 1971, 90 minutes long, in color. This is about a woman who was blinded during a horse riding accident, and she returns to the English countryside, her home where her family is, just when a maniacal killer is on the loose. Mia Farrow stars in this. This was 3 years after Rosemary's Baby, which was a huge success, of course. She was only 26 at the time when she made this one. And then in 1982 is when she began making a series of films with Woody Allen, but we're not going to go there. This was directed by Richard Fleischer. He has 62 film credits as a director, including some wonderful noirs like Armored Car Robbery and The Narrow Margin. And he also made films like Soylent Green and The New Centurions. It was written by Brian Clemens, who is probably best known for writing several episodes of the classic TV series The Avengers, including the pilot episode. And he also wrote some Hammer films I really like, including Dr. Kronos, Vampire Hunter, and Dr. Jekyll and Sister Hyde. He also wrote the film The Golden Voyage of Sinbad. See No Evil takes a while to get going. I'd say about 30 minutes for it really to kick into high gear. And that's about the first third of the film, because we're establishing Mia's situation, coming back to this home, who her family members are. And meanwhile, it keeps cutting back and forth to this guy wearing these cowboy boots and doing some kind of strange confrontational things. So we know he's up to no good. We don't see his face at all, at least not for the bulk of the film. So basically, after the killer strikes, it's a one-woman show for Mia Farrow, and she really is put through the paces here. She's crawling around through mud. She's falling down everywhere. She's almost drowns. She's smacked really hard in the face, and that leads to a big freak-out moment for her where she realizes what's been happening. As the audience, we can see what happened, and it's pretty creepy and eerie to see. I don't want to give too many details, to see what's going on in the house or what happened in the house. And she has no idea because she's blind. So she's walking around and she's just a few feet away from these awful things that happen. So that's pretty good. She's generally believable as a blind person and with a British accent. There is one sequence where she's running through the woods, and I thought, she's really running through the woods pretty fast, and faster than I could run through the woods, and I can see, even with my glasses, but nothing's getting in her face. She's just kind of, moving her arms around, flailing around as she runs through the woods hysterically. So that was a little hard to believe. But the camera work does a good job creating suspense. It's kind of lurking around corners. It has using some odd angles to kind of keep us off balance a little bit. It's stalking Mia in several sequences. It shifts to a handheld jittery camera to create some tension and nervousness. So it does a really good job with that. There is an unfortunate montage at one point, and that's kind of a pet peeve of mine because I think for the most part montages just kind of are filler and just kind of waste time and are boring. But she's riding horses with her old boyfriend, and it's a montage. I fast forwarded through that. It has nothing to do with anything, doesn't move the plot forward really or anything. But the music is done well. It's restrained for the most part, especially during the suspenseful moments. And for me, without the music telling us it's suspense, makes it more suspenseful, I think. The ending, there's a few red herrings about who the killer might be, and that's fun, but ultimately it gets kind of predictable at the very, very end, and it's kind of a letdown. It's not a real satisfying ending. So my rating for See No Evil is going to be 3 horses out of 5. So what's on this disc? This is an indicator disc. It's all region. This was a blind buy for me, no pun intended. I had never heard of it, but it looked intriguing. And I got it during one of the indicator sales, so I think it was like maybe $8 or $10 for me. There is no booklet in here, so I'm going to assume there was a limited edition with the booklet, but that's not this one, so unfortunately no booklet. There is an alternate UK cut. In England it was called Blind Terror. The UK cut I think is a minute longer or a minute shorter, so I'm not sure how much of a difference that really is. I guess it's a minute difference. There's an interview, it's about 10 minutes long, with one of the actors. There's a comparison of the 2 cuts. There's an image gallery. There's really not a whole lot on this disc. But where can you see No Evil? Well, I don't see it streaming anywhere, so I guess you would have to rent it if you want to see it. But be aware, there are about 5 other films called See No Evil, or almost called See No Evil. So if you want to see this one, it's the 1971 film with Mia Farrow. As far as buying it, I have a feeling it's out of print. Amazon has it for $35 through an outside seller. And I looked at one other website, it said not in stock. So I have a feeling you might be out of luck if you want to buy it. So anyways, See No Evil. Feel free to leave a comment or suggestion down below. Maybe I forgot another film like this. I put some back here, you can see, dealing with people that have afflictions and who are in danger. Leave a thumbs up. Don't leave a thumbs down. Subscribe would be great. Share this with your friends and neighbors. Otherwise, thanks so much for watching. Look for us on Letterboxd. There's a link in the notes down below under the Kazdoy closet. That's where you can find short written reviews of other things we're watching. Otherwise, hope you like this one, and I will see you next time.